Hi, it's Rob with Foster Live. It's Wednesday, the middle of the week, and we are so excited that you have joined us today. We're going to be talking about extracurricular activities and things that your kids should get involved in when they come to your house and they're in care. So many times they have counseling, they have visits, they have court, they have FST meetings, they have all this junk that is related to foster care. And today we're going to talk about how we need to bring normalcy to them while they're with us so that they can enjoy being a child, being a youth, and that's so important. Our state has even gone as far as we can now post their pictures on Facebook, and that was huge. Because we wanted to bring these kids in, but we always had to black out their faces or blur their faces, and it didn't really make them feel like they were a part of a family. And so we've changed some laws here in our state, and I think it's important that they have that normalcy in the community and in your home so that they feel like they're a part of the family. We're going to explore getting involved in normal activities today on Foster Life. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's Courtney with Foster Life, and I'm just here wrapping up some gifts for the Foster TV Christmas Challenge. If you want to get involved, go on down to the store, buy a gift, or 4 gifts, or however many you want, for children from ages 0 to 19. Come home, take a picture with your family or your dog, and let us know that you've done it by tagging us on Foster TV and Christmas Challenge. And then take it down to the local DFS office or Children's Services. And that's it. You're all set. Have a Merry Christmas.
Welcome back to Foster Life. Today we're talking about extracurricular activities and how to get involved in normalcy. This is my guest, Tristan Dunning. It hasn't been too long since you were in school, right?
No, not too long.
Okay.
2 years, and then I was in college too, so.
Cool.
Got some extracurricular activities there in college also.
All right. So what did you go to school for? Just your basic stuff, or what were you doing?
That and accounting. So I've got an associate's in business and accounting.
Oh, so he's smart and he can count that money and all that good stuff. So, so many times when we take kids in, especially I would say junior high to high school, we get kids that they're just kind of bombarded with the system and everything that we're doing in court and all that kind of stuff.
With the counselors and everything.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have very much time to do much anything.
Right, exactly. And so we want to be more normal. So what kinds of things were you involved in when you were in school not so long ago?
I always played sports. So, you've got football, baseball, basketball. In the little town that I grew up in, we had little bowling groups every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
If you're into skating, there was some skating to do.
Cool.
So.
And did you work during high school?
Yes. Yep, I did. First job was like a janitorial job, and
cool.
Then also worked at the YMCA.
Oh, good. And so, doing that, did that hurt your academic career, or do you think that was good for you?
I think it was good for me. It taught me to be stern. If I want something, you've got to work for it. So,
right.
Not only that, but sports actually helped me out figuring that out too.
Right. So I think it's important not only that they get involved in sports, but it is not going to hurt your kid that's in care to have a job. And I think for many reasons. One, like you were saying, they can kind of get the things that they want and they get to kind of choose that. But also I think it's a little bit of a distraction from everything else that's going on as well.
I'd imagine these kids have probably been through a lot. So just anything to get their mind off of something is good.
Right, and it probably taught you some responsibility as well.
Yes.
Now you have a twin sister, is that right?
I do.
So, who was born first?
She was 2 minutes older.
So you're the little brother.
Yeah. She
All
didn't
right.
let it buy me either.
So was she really involved in sports too, or what kind of extracurricular activities was she involved in?
Her main sport was softball, but then throughout the time she hung out with friends a lot, and just kind of went and hung out with them, drove around every once in a while. So softball was the only thing she really played.
Softball, and
Whenever she was younger, she played basketball too.
What other extracurricular activities are there to do at school?
There at school, you've got FBLA. There's different FFA, where you could go show cattle or show horses or something.
Yeah.
And then also, not very many people did it, but there's always a library in any town.
Right.
They'd have readings, or sometimes you could even watch a movie there every once in a while.
Speech and debate.
Yes.
Drama club. There's all sorts of different things. What is that? ROTC?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a foster kid that just was doing the ROTC, and I think that he's going to have a career in the military. So that's kind of a neat thing as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things in our schools to get involved in. So how do you think it would be best to get your kid involved in these things? I mean, how can we encourage them as parents? So you're obviously much younger than us. Mm-hmm. So what's a healthy way to encourage a young person to get involved instead of just trying to make them do it?
Well, main thing is to basically just show them what's there. A lot of the times parents won't even acknowledge all the extracurricular activities, or they'll say, well, I can't pick you up. Well, there's buses and everything that can drop the kids off. So basically just showing them what's out there and what the school offers. I know the school offers plenty of different extracurricular activities.
They do. And a lot of times there are bus services that can take them at a later time or pick them up or whatnot as well. And if you're fostering, there's also services that they can pick up the kid and take them and bring them home and whatnot. And we have several agencies, even in the small town that Tristan speaks of, that can transport your young kids and whatnot. When we come back, Tristan and I are going to tear down social media, and he's going to give us the young person's version and what to look for and what to be aware of, and how involved we want our kids to be in social media when we come back right here on Foster Life.
Get involved with the Foster Christmas Challenge. We are.
Thanks, son. It is so easy to get involved. Click share on this video right here. And even if you're not able to give this year, or you give to something else at Christmas, by clicking share, we're spreading the word that there's 439,000 foster kids who need Christmas this year. So click share. Then go out and buy a gift from 0 to 19 if you wish. And you can get one thing, many things, two things, whatever your heart desires. Then take a short video with your family or yourself and your contribution, and post it on the Foster TV Facebook page. And you can make those funny if you want. Then contact your local DFS or family services, or just show up unless it's a holiday, and they'll make sure that your contribution gets to a kid in care right there in your county. So no matter if you live in California, Alaska, Hawaii, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Colorado, anybody can do the Foster Christmas Challenge. Then make sure to go online and challenge 3 of your family and friends to do the same. Let's spread the word. Let's make this thing happen so that 439,000 kids in care who did not choose this life are able to have the Christmas that they deserve. Thanks for your help. We appreciate it. Welcome back to Foster Life. I'm Rob. I'm your host today. We're talking about all things normal for kids that come into care with Tristan today. And so many times we take these junior high and senior high kids in, and things don't seem very normal in their life. And I think the more that we can make it normal for them, the better. And so we were just talking about extracurricular activities that they could get involved in school. But not only at school, you worked at the Y,
yes.
And there has to be a lot of things. What does the Y have to offer for kids their age?
the one that I went and worked at, they've got skating opportunities where you can go during the weekend, and they stay open from 10:30, sometimes midnight even, let the kids skate around.
Right.
They actually are very helpful when it comes to time to leave. They stay out there with your kids until they get picked
Right.
up. Also, different swimming during the summer times, all kinds of different camp.
You would have like lock-ins or something?
Yeah. We'd have a lock-in over the night even.
Yeah, so lock-ins and movies and that kind of stuff. And then they had a day camp program, didn't they? Tell us a little bit about that in the summer.
I don't know very much about that. I didn't work it during then, but I do know they could go swimming, and they basically take a group of kids and hang out with them the whole day and do different camping activities and everything.
Right, yeah. And if one thing, it's a good safe place for your kids to go in the summer, and we've tapped into those services many times for our young kids, and it's also good to build that family bond with your kids.
Not only a bond, but it's just a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
They actually enjoy working out and doing something instead of sitting and playing video games every now and then. So.
Right. And I know that many times when we fostered, we would go there and do the skating with our kids and play pool with our kids and do all of this stuff. And I am so picky about what is family time, because to me, going to a movie and sitting there watching a movie with your kids, that's not family time, because you're not interacting with each other. You're just watching the movie. Yeah. But the Y is a really good place to go where you can interact with your kids and be a part of something. Now, they have teams there. Is that just for adults, or because don't they have like volleyball teams and basketball teams and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, I worked the basketball, and mainly it was actually kids, younger kids, and you take a group and they'd have games every weekend, and eventually down to a tournament, and they'd play several games, and there'd be a champion. Then we always made sure to pray at the very beginning of every game, and that's something that's nice to include into there. And they always had a good time, good refs and everything else. Yeah,
so just knowing the place, and there's many places. The Y is not the only place like that in your community, but there's many places where you can do that, and that you can be a part and get involved. It's just making sure that you know the safetyness for your kids as well. And like at the Y, those people are all checked and everything, and
and
we
sure
know.
Even in other states, they'd have programs at their own
Exactly.
school or something to get involved. So.
Yep, exactly. So those extracurricular activities don't only have to happen at school. And in the summertime, there's a lot of things to get involved in as well. I also know that most states have a foster youth summer camp program where they can actually go away and be with kids in the summer. And I know our program has fishing and all kinds of stuff, boating and things that they can do, and they get to go and be in the hills and kind of get back to nature.
I could have done whenever I was a kid anyway.
Yeah, summer camp was always fun and and very exciting. When we come back, we're going to be talking about social media right here on Foster Life.
Hey, this is Tristan. I've never been a foster kid, but I know many that are in care. Please join us in the Foster Christmas Challenge. Anyone can do it, and it's easy to get involved. Please visit our Foster TV Facebook page. I'll be looking for your video right here.
Welcome back to Foster Life. We're here with Tristan Dunning today, and we're talking all things about normalcy when these kids come into care from junior high to high school. So we've talked about extracurricular activities. One thing that I'm always a little nervous about, because I'm getting old now, and believe it or not, when I was your age, we didn't have social media, and I was the only kid in my town, and I lived in a pretty big town, like 100,000 people, that had a cell phone when I was your age. So the only one, kid. So anyway, we're talking, so one thing that we get nervous about is social media. So what are some good sites, some pretty safe sites that that are probably okay?
Well, Facebook for sure. It's the oldest one compared to the others, I feel like, and it's the safest because I mean, you just see everybody. It's not like you have pop-up ads where they're real bad or nothing.
Right. So Facebook is pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I mean, there's Instagram. It's somewhat safe, somewhat not. It depends on if maybe you have your parents, if you're younger, view who you follow and what you follow.
Right.
And then there's Snapchat. And Snapchat, if I was a kid, my parents always would view and take a look at least who I was talking to. If it was somebody just as a friend, or if it was my girlfriend, they'd kind of view it a little bit more just to see what I was saying, what I was doing. Not that they really had to worry about me whenever I was younger, but they still just like knowing what was going on in my life.
Right. And that's one important thing. Even if you have a child that's really good, sometimes really good people make some poor choices once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
And so you always want to be involved. And I think the more that you're involved as a parent, the better that experience could be. It's when we are too trusting. And I've done that as a foster parent. On several occasions, I was too trusting. And then the social worker came and said, let me see his phone. And she's pulling up stuff. And I'm like, oh, crap. I didn't know that was going on. And so if you're not, you want to really monitor that as well.
Yeah, and it's not that you're being a bad parent whenever you do
Right.
that either. I was actually sometimes glad whenever my parents would take my phone every night. Whenever it became 8:30, they'd go ahead and just set it in their room, and I'd be able to have dinner with my family and watch a movie or something before bed. So it's kind of nice to get away from even social media whenever you're younger.
Right, and social media can be stressful for us, but I think it can be stressful for our kids too. And we obviously are doing something right, because we take our kids' phone away at around 8:30 as well. So I'm glad to hear that somebody else does that.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that actually. Whenever I was younger, I didn't really understand it, and I didn't like it too much. But now that I'm older, I actually really enjoyed that my family did that. So.
Yeah, that's good. So Snapchat.
Yes, Snapchat. It's definitely one that you've got to monitor whenever you're a parent.
Right. So if you're not allowed to use Snapchat, if they're not allowed to use Snapchat, just want you to know that a lot of times our little people or our young people don't know exactly how to delete it. And so when it says that it automatically goes away, yes and no. There is a way that workers can go in and take a look as to what's going on, because if they don't delete things properly, they'll still be able to see things. So if you don't know how to do that as a parent, you can always get your social worker when they come, and they can take a look and make sure. Now, one of the things that we do in our home is so computers have to be, or phones have to be, or tablets have to be in a central area. So like they have to be in the family room, the living room, the kitchen. They're never allowed to take them to the bathroom, to the bedrooms, those types of places as well. And so just putting those safety nets into place can help them. But I think social media is important. And the reason why is if we're trying to make our kids feel normal, and then we're not letting them have the things that other kids have, they're not going to feel normal. And I think it's important that they're able to have those things, and we monitor them. And a lot of times you can have teachable moments. So we take in a lot of guys in our house. So we have 8. We have 10 total, 2 girls, 8 boys. And a lot of times when we take these boys in, the first thing they want to do is get on their Facebook and have their shirt off, and they want to have, this and that. But that's given me a good opportunity to sit down and have a really good discussion with them, and that discussion looks like, So when you're on Facebook and you have your shirt off and you're looking like this or that, how do you think that looks from my family? You know, because my family is friends with me on Facebook, so they can see your profile. So what do you think they think? And so kind of giving them some tools to make better choices and better decisions and look at things a little differently than they have in the past.
The way I always thought about it is whenever I go to post something is, well, my grandma's going to see this, and I don't really want my grandma to be seeing this type of stuff. So if you just think about who's going to be viewing it, it always changed my mind even whenever I was a little.
Yep. Because
it's definitely a good learning moment for sure.
And knowing exactly what they're going to be seeing and doing and doing those things. When Tristan and I come back, we're going to talk about other things that you can do to help your little treasures feel normal right here on Foster Life. We'll be back right after this.
Hi folks, it's Mama T here with Mama T's Cooking Big. Join us for the Foster Christmas Challenge.
Tristan Dunning is in our studios today at Foster Life, and we're talking about normalcy with our foster kids that come into care. It is so important that they feel normal because they have so much going on and there's so much stress. And sometimes we forget, a lot of these kids that come to us, they feel guilty that like they're the problem and they're the reason that they were brought into foster care because maybe they told a teacher something or they told a school nurse something, and so they feel like that they're the issue, and they're not necessarily the issue at all. And so if we can give them that normalcy and let them feel a little bit like they should, then hey, more power, to them. So what kinds of things were you doing in high school and junior high? Like what age did you get your permit?
I was 15 whenever I got my permit, and then 16 whenever I started driving.
Okay. How old was Sis when she got her license?
Permit, she was 15. License, I think she was almost 17 before she even tried to get her license.
Okay.
She didn't really feel the need to drive. She had friends to drive, and then whenever I got my license...
And little brother had his license, so I'm sure you drove her places, right?
Yep.
Because you're pretty close.
Oh, yeah. Always to school and everything else.
Did you go to prom?
Yes.
Cool. How many years?
I went to prom probably 3 years out of the 4.
All 3 years? Or out of 4. Okay. And then homecoming?
There's plenty of homecoming dances that we went to, yep.
Okay.
Just about every seasonal sport, there was a homecoming that you could go to.
So did you have a girlfriend in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always had a girlfriend.
Okay. So what was your dating?
Dating, we'd go to movies. Sometimes it was even just driving to go for a picnic, going out to eat. Once you get the license, you drive to Springfield or areas around, go out to eat. So.
Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about is driving, because that's a huge step. But with our kids, what we've done with our fosters, one, the state has to be okay with them getting their permit. And most of the time they are, because they want them to do normal things.
Is that still age 15?
Yep. So it's still age 15 for them, or it depends on your state, wherever you're at. But when they get that license, that can be kind of a nervous thing. Were you a good driver when you first started driving?
I feel like I was. I mean, I had my couple shares of wrecks.
Oh, yeah?
But, it was never hitting somebody. It was always just me being a kid and to do some fun stuff.
Exactly, yeah, and we get that. But so as foster parents, we have to look at what that may look like. And not every kid is set out to get their license at 15. We have kids that would view a vehicle as a weapon, and they would probably drive it through the house when they were mad at me just to do so. But we've also had kids in our house that were very responsible, and so we went and got their permit, and we did that. And so you have to kind of view each situation. Again, prom. is very important. It might not seem important to them right now in high school, but when they get older, we know that prom is important. And we were just talking about a gal the other day on our show, and she was a foster kid, and it like changed her life. So now she has a foundation that makes sure that foster kids get to go to prom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's a really cool like little ministry or mission that she does. But that's important. Homecoming is important. But being involved, how much you're involved, know who they're going with, know the parents, make sure that they know their boundaries and everything when they're doing that. And did you have a curfew? Because we always have a curfew.
Yeah, always a curfew. It was 10:30 or 10:45.
10:30 or 10:45.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you know when they're supposed to be home and when they're supposed to be back. And a lot of how lenient we are with our kids is based on how well they follow those guidelines and kind of those rules and that type of thing as well.
I know going back to social media, there's different ways to even view like where your kids are. Sometimes different phone carriers will offer that. It's not necessarily you have to check it all the time.
Right.
But if you're ever worried about where your kid is, you could find out where he is and then give him a phone call or her a phone call.
Right. Family based on Verizon is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely would advise that for any family, just to know where their kids are at any time.
Yep, you know where they're at. Also on Verizon with the family base, you can see how many people they're texting and what times they're texting. You can see if they're using their phone during school. You can even on family base turn it off during school hours so that it shuts off and then it comes back on as soon as school's out. So having those tools and knowing what tools are available, but with those tools, we want to make sure that they feel normal.
Yes.
And that they feel like they're a part of something, they're a part of their high school. I can't imagine. So imagine this. They brought into state's custody. They've went through this interview. They've went through this whole investigation. They've been taken away from their family. And now they're going to a new school at a very awkward age, especially junior high.
Yes.
And then they have to meet all these new kids and things. So if we're going to set them up for success, then we got to get them involved. And we got to help them to find friends and to introduce them and do the things that are kind of normal. Friday nights, we always went to the football games with our older kids. And we would go, they could hang out with their friends, and we would sit at the top of the bleachers. None of their friends had to even know that we were there. Luckily, our kids liked us enough that they would bring all their friends to come sit with us and tell them all about us and stuff, which always made us feel good. But just being there but not being there, that's okay too. And making them feel like you kind of trust them a little bit.
Yep.
And extending that trust.
Football games are a perfect place to do that.
Yep, exactly.
Just even if you were going to a bowling alley or something, you could always just sit back and relax and let the kids bowl.
Or if they want to go to the movies and you're not quite sure, go to the movies with them, but go see a different movie. So we might go to a different theater. I mean, a different theater within the theater. Yeah, and then them and their friends can go to another movie, and you're still there, but you're not there, and that way they're comfortable as well. When we come back, we're going to be wrapping up today on Foster Life. We're so glad that Tristan is in our studios talking to us all things teenagers right here on Foster. Welcome back to Foster Life. Today we're talking all things normal with foster kids, and it's so important that they have normalcy when they come to your home and that they feel like they're a part of something. I'm reminded of a story. Our kids, so they come here, and sometimes like when they're like 18, 16, 15, they've been the parent for so long because of the things that have gone on in the home. And they don't know how to be a kid. And so sometimes we have to know what's available for them so that they can be a kid. And I've actually had to have a conversation with our kids and say, it's your time to be a kid and just have fun. You don't have to parent. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You're just going to have fun, and you're going to be a kid, and you're going to enjoy your time.
Yeah, I've honestly seen that a lot. Not just in foster kids, but also in kids that just maybe their parents work too late or something.
Yep.
And they just wind up being this parent whenever they're only 16, 17 years old.
And that's not healthy for them because they need that normalcy too, and they need that time to grow up and be with their peers and their friends as well. I support the Foster Christmas Challenge 100% this Christmas season. If you want to know more how you can give back no matter what state you live in and to give the Christmas that every foster child deserves, just go to our Foster TV Facebook page and click on one of the videos, and it'll tell you how you can be involved with the Foster Christmas Challenge. Coming up on Friday, we're going to have Mama T in the house. We're going to be doing Christmas crafts right here on Foster TV. Till Friday. See you then. Bye-bye.
Hey, Robert, join our Foster Christmas Challenge. Just do it.
Thanks, son. It is so easy to get involved. Click share on this video right here. And even if you're not able to give this year or you give to something else at Christmas, by clicking share, we're spreading the word that there's 439,000 foster kids who need Christmas this year. So click share. Then go out and buy a gift from 0 to 19 if you wish. And you can get one thing, many things, two things, whatever your heart desires. Then take a short video with your family or yourself and your contribution and post it on the Foster TV Facebook page. And you can make those funny if you want. Then contact your local DFS or Family Services, or just show up, unless it's a holiday, and they'll make sure that your contribution gets to a kid in care right there in your county. So no matter if you live in California, Alaska, Hawaii, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Colorado, anybody can do the Foster Christmas Challenge. Then make sure to go online and challenge 3 of your family and friends to do the same. Let's spread the word. Let's make this thing happen so that 439,000 kids in care who did not choose this life are able to have the Christmas that they deserve. Thanks for your help. We appreciate it.